Итак, добрый день. Спасибо за то, что пришли. Меня зовут Натери.
Positively, recent amendments significantly reduced the number of supporting signatures required for candidate registration. 17 prospective candidates were rejected by the CEC, and 6 of them challenged the CEC decisions unsuccessfully in the Supreme Court. Remaining legal restrictions on candidates' rights are contrary to OSCE commitments and other international standards and limit the inclusiveness of the candidate registration process.
And this is the press conference for the International Election Observation Mission to the President.
Most candidates publicly expressed their certainty that the incumbent president would prevail in the election, with many of the candidates themselves stating that they did not expect to win. The election lacked genuine competition. Thus, efforts to increase the turnout predominated over the campaigns.
Here in the Russian Federation yesterday. So this mission has been a joint endeavor.
A number of activists who questioned the legitimacy of the election were detained. Instances of pressure on voters to take part in the election were reported to the ODIHR Election Observation Mission. All these violations contravene a number of OSCE commitments and other international obligations regarding freedom and equality in the campaign.
Of 2 OSCE institutions working together. We have the OSCE Office for Democratic and
I want to underline that legal and technical aspects of the election were administered efficiently, with the Central Electoral Commission headed by Ella Alexandrovna Pamfilova. The cooperation was open-minded, professional and reliable.
Результат совместных усилий 2 организаций, которые работают вместе.
A choice without a real competition, as we have seen in this election, unfortunately is not a real choice. Where the legal framework restricts many fundamental freedoms and the outcome is not in doubt, elections almost lose their purpose of empowering people to choose their leaders.
Это Бюро по демократическим свободам и правам человека.
Elections are a critical part of democracy, but democracy is not only about the election. Some positive legal change and good work by the Central Election Commission are welcome, but improving the real state of democracy in Russia requires full respect for people's rights, also between elections. The ability for candidates to generate campaign freely in recent weeks needs to be extended to all of society.
В ДИПЧ у них такая миссия долгосрочная в стране, и они.
While the incumbent president did not participate in debates or in campaigning, extensive and unchallenging news coverage of these official activities continue to provide him with dominant presence in the media. In the end, I think we can say that most media did not present voters with a critical assessment of the incumbent's views. This is unfortunate.
Они начали работать с 5 февраля, и эту миссию возглавляет господин посол Ян.
A number of changes in the election legislation took place since the last presidential election, some addressing previous recommendations, and we very much welcome that recommendations are taken on, because election and democracy are a process.
И он также выступит по поводу.
As an OSCE Vice President, as a member of Parliament, as a believer in the importance of democratic rights, and as a voter, I'm deeply disappointed that Ukrainian authorities yesterday did not provide adequate conditions for Russian residents in Ukraine to vote. I fully understand the difficult situation of relations between Russia and Ukraine, but the fundamental right to citizens to vote should not be a casualty of conflicts between governments.
Результатов долгосрочной наблюдательной миссии, и господин Майкл Марк